I wonder, there we go. All right, resume. That's the part. Okay. Let's go live again. Only this time, let's change that. And what we are talking about today is the celestial meeting. Done. It's good enough. Go live. It's perfect. I got live right on time. Definitely on time. Could have even shown up a moment after. Now, if this phone decides to let me in it, I will go live on my other channel. But currently, we are not. The screen that it's giving me, I don't think would really support a live. I don't even think. I think if I went into TikTok on this phone with it doing this, the one my screen doing, I don't think that my phone screen could support a live today on my other channel. So if you do follow my on Sha'Ryah channel on TikTok, do know this might no. Actually, that's a bad idea. Oh, I almost went on TikTok. If I had done that, it would have made a lot of noise. Okay, anyway, we're just going to not worry about the live on the other channel. So I'll be on TikTok down here on my Sha'Ryah and Lorian channel, and then up here on YouTube on both Sha'Ryah and Lorian, and on Sha'Ryah, and then also on my Tanya Baldwin Facebook page. So I'll be live on all of those channels today. So today is our celestial briefing, and that's what we do every Sunday night. We get together and we check in on the living sky. So you can go to the sky live, you can move through your area, and if you convert the times that I share into your time zone, then you'll see that the information that I'm sharing is correct. That's what it's saying that the living sky is. And that's what I work with. I want to work with within a harmonious relationship with all life. And I think that's what we're meant to do. We're meant to live in harmony with each other. We're meant to live in harmony with the plants, with the animals, with the earth itself, and also with all the celestial bodies. And it doesn't matter your interpretation of that. The energy that flows between all of these things is what I think we're meant to live in harmony with. Unity consciousness, right? So anyway, on Sunday, I like to talk about the celestial briefing, or walking the sky, as I like to call it, and 333 on the timer right there. And we are going to look at what the planets are doing this week according to the living sky. And this is also known as true sidereal, if you were to look at a form of astrology. Now, I am also teaching the Christic astrology, which is true sidereal, but my version of the whole thing. Like, I'm creating the whole course. I've created a certification structure, all of that. There's 3 levels. I don't know if there'll be more. There might be. You never know. But at this point, there's 3 levels. And right now, it's level 1. Don't even worry about the other 2 levels. They haven't been created yet. They're just in the formation stage. So if what I'm talking about every week interests you and you want to learn more about it, stay tuned, or go check out my website, which is linked in my profile, and check out the Christic astrology course, which is right on the front page, so you can easily see it and then go get further information. All right, so we're going to talk about the living sky and how to work with it this week. And I also am doing a relaunch for on Sha'Ryah because there's been so many changes over the course of this particular year. So I'm going to be doing a special broadcast on Friday. I normally do my lives on Sunday and Wednesday, but this week I'm going to do one on Friday as well. And what other day? Oh yeah. And I'm doing a short live on Saturday, the 21st as well. Wow, I forgot about that. On the 21st, it'll be at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. We will be getting together, and this is for a global meditation that is being put on. And I've decided that at that point in time, I'll go live on my channel doing the same meditation with them, so that it's just sharing it out to more people. Even if it's only, around 10,000 people that I have, that's still 10,000 people more. And so I'm happy to share that. When we all come together with the same goal in mind, they've done studies on this. They've done studies on how powerful we are together when we meditate on the same topic. It's really, really powerful how much our consciousness, when aligned to the same end goal, creates that for us. And that's why it's important at this time to seek out peace. It's so important because what we're seeing in the world is not peace. My dog opened the curtain. That's funny. All righty. So I have a couple special episodes this week. Like I said, on Friday, we're going to be doing an equinox episode because that is March 20th. It's equinox. I also have a new book that releases that day. And that book is Parisa and the Mermaid Who's Afraid of Water. I had to remember for a moment there. I've published a lot of books. I think she's 20. She's number 20, which is quite fantastic. So do check out those books. You can get the ebook version at the website, significantly cheaper, or you can purchase, and I get it directly then, or you can purchase through Amazon and get the physical copy in your hands if you wanted to gift it, or there are some books that I write that would be absolutely fantastic for classrooms. Jessie, Who Learns to Create Calm Spaces, is such a book because, well, she teaches you how to create calm spaces, which is quite a practice. And that helps you to regulate your nervous system. And it's something that many of us didn't get taught when we were children. So there's many of us adults that could use this book as well. So get it and check it out and give it a read, or purchase it for a classroom. It has been donated to libraries and classrooms, and so has Jack. And I think Charlie's made it to daycares maybe. Charlie's actually one of the best-selling books that I have, and that's because he's teaching some really good things. No spitting, no biting, no hitting, and no kicking. Right? They're really good practices for a 3-year-old to learn. And it's a pretty fun way for them to learn them. And this one just teaches you that when you bully somebody, that they can sometimes turn into like monsters in a way. It's how they see themselves, that they're not lovable and they maybe feel cast out, and that, we can bring them back when we accept them again and love them again. There's something beautiful in everybody for sure. So those are the books that the first books that I wrote anyway. But the book that's on the on the 20th is the 6th book in this series. Tiana and the Phoenix Who Refused to Burn came out on winter solstice, and Parisa is the unlikely heroine that stars in the spring equinox releases. So this is her second book. Her first book was Parisa Befriends the Pixies. So they're really, really cute stories, and I do hope that you check them out. Okay, we got lots to get to. We have a whole week of information, and I have some notes that I've written down. I will probably talk about that stuff again, right? The fact that I was like, what day are we on? It's the 15th. I'm like, oh my gosh, Sunday the 15th. Yay. Let's look at the week ahead from Sunday the 15th until the 22nd, and see what we have coming up for us with energy. And if you want to hang out with me some more, you can hang out with me. Oh, ow. You can hang out with me on Wednesday as well at 6:30 p.m. I do my embodied wisdom show, which is just talking about living the way. And the way was what I said earlier, which was living in harmony with all life, unity consciousness, all of those wonderful pillars of who we are. So we look at the sky too and how that plays into helping us to develop, right? Because it does give us the energies that allow us to evolve our souls if we work with the energies correctly. And that's what I hope I can show you how to do. So this might be a different take on astrology than what you're used to. And if you're really, really interested, check out the readings that I have. I am updating the descriptions a little bit. But the first page that you read about the descriptions are accurate. So check them out. Because it can give you like an unbelievable understanding about you when you look at it under the true sky. Like, how was the sky the night that you were born? And I'll take the Living Sky app and I'll roll it back to the time of birth that you give me, if you have a time of birth and location and everything, and I will get your chart. Like, I will look at the sky that night and verify all the placements of your planets. And so you can get a quite a different reading, but it's amazing how it is when you look at it from the true sky, how aligned it actually is for you. So we're going to talk about today that we have Pisces season, right? We entered into Pisces season on the 12th. So the sky moves in cycles of expansion and reflection. And I forgot. I didn't put my comments out yet. I have to be careful. Sometimes I forget. And then I don't see my comments and I have to put them over there. Okay. We've got the comments up now. We're good. We're good. Everything's good. All righty. So we entered into Pisces season. In Aquarius season, it emphasized the future. So we maybe we're planning the future, having thoughts about the future, thinking about collective energy, innovation, all of that energy is within Aquarius. It asks us to think about systems and communities and the evolution of collective structures. I don't know if my tea is too hot yet, but hang on. Well, it's very sip, just teeny tiny. So when we move into Pisces season, Pisces is asking why, like where Aquarius is asking, what are we building? Pisces is asking, why are we building it? And this movement from air into water encourages more emotional awareness, intuition, creativity, and spiritual reflection. So you may even find yourself being more emotional during Pisces season because you are more tapped in to your emotions, and you have to be careful because you have to have your discernment about you, so that your compassion does not become confusion, right? Where you start to bleed your energy into other people or absorb from other people, either way, right? All right. So right now we have the sun in Pisces. Now in mainstream or tropical seasonal astrology, which is what you will see most people talking about. The bulk of people that talk about astrology are talking about tropical, but here we talk about true sidereal, which is the living sky, and it incorporates Ophiuchus as the 13th planet. Now, I talk about whatever planets the sky actually lands in, like, or whatever planet, whatever celestial body that the planets land in. I talk about them and how they affect the energies depending on which planet it is. And it's according to what's happening in the live sky. So that's the way that what I talk about. So if that's what's interesting to you, then stick around and check out what's here. Okay, so Pisces season. We got Pisces sun moved there on the 12th. We have Mercury retrograde, which went retrograde into Aquarius. So that's making us review conversations. It's making us, take a second look before we're signing documents. It's not saying that we can't do things or that bad things are going to happen or that there's going to be communication difficulties or, any of that. What it is saying is we're rewinding, that's the retrograde, into Aquarius, and it's giving you an opportunity to review the conversations that you're having, to review the collective. We'll talk about that more. But hang on. All right. We have Venus and Pisces. I got excited about it. We got Venus and Pisces. We got we have Mars in Aquarius, and we have Saturn in Pisces. Now this week the moon is going to move. Right now it's in Sagittarius. It's going to move. Actually, no, it's not. It's already in Capricorn. Sorry, the moon's in Capricorn, and then it's going to move into Aquarius and then Pisces. So it's going to move through 3 sequences. I did originally think 4. I didn't calculate the moon quite correctly because it is already in Capricorn. So it is going through structure, perspective, and then intuition with the movement of the moon. So we won't talk about the Sagittarius part of the moon because that was at the end of last week. So we'll talk about the Capricorn. And what Capricorn is about is building structure. I always talk about Capricorn as big daddy energy or the masculine energy. And this is healthy masculine energy because Capricorn wants to build solid foundations. It's about integrity. It's about making sure that the foundation is really strong and that what you're making is something that is going to create a legacy for the next generation. It's when Aquarius grabs it that they do something more with it. But Capricorn is always asking us, how can our vision become a reality? How can we ground this? Because it is earth energy. And Capricorn is represented by that Mergo. And it's about that I will take it to the top of the mountain and plant the flag. It's very determined energy because Capricorn is disciplined. And for many of us, we've for a long time looked at discipline as if it was punishment because that's what it got twisted up with as children. So, and we also look at some of these things that fall under, say, Capricorn energy as very father or patriarchal. And a lot of us have father wounds or masculine wounds, especially, when you think about in the dynamics of relationships. And so we have all of these subconscious beliefs or triggers or distortions that we have built in because of what we experienced as children and the way that society shaped us, what our peers taught us, the influences that we had in our lives. And so that Capricorn energy, when we can learn to look at discipline differently and not equate discipline with punishment, then we can look at discipline and we can change the energy of it and say, okay, this is actually just devotion. When I'm disciplined, I'm devoted to whatever it is that I'm being disciplined in. So if I'm disciplined in, my spiritual practices, because, spirituality is something that I teach, if I'm not doing that, then, that might not be in alignment with me. So that Capricorn energy is that devotion to that part that wants that to be a part of the future. Capricorn gets you to show up. So when the moon is in Capricorn, the phase emphasizes responsibility, discipline, and also practical action. Those are all those dad energies. We have to look at vision, which is what Sagittarius would have given to Capricorn. Vision without structure can't sustain itself. So we need that structure that Capricorn's going to help us build. Then the moon moves into Aquarius, and Aquarius says, hey, well, that's great. We've built a solid foundation and we're creating something that's going to last until tomorrow. And Aquarius goes, but what about the future? What about the next generation? What about everybody else? What about the community? So how can we make a larger impact on society? That's what Aquarius is looking at. So Aquarius reconnects the individual path with the collective environment. The questions that are going to arise when the Aquarius moon rolls in is, how does my work serve the larger world? And where can collaboration increase or create greater impact? So for someone like me, I have a nonprofit, Hugs for Homeless. So how does my work serve the larger world? Well, I have a mission of a nonprofit. And where can collaboration create greater impact? Well, it would be a great time when the moon moves into Aquarius for me to be contacting people in order to open up community partnerships, right? So I can look at when the moon is moving into Aquarius, that would be the time to pursue those things because of that energy. And that's what it's meant by living with the energy of the sky, just understanding what energies are going to be there. And also when you start questioning those things, you'll be like, oh yeah, it's Aquarius moon. That's right. It's the time for this, where I'm going to reflect and refine, or I'm going to grow and expand, or because we're not always doing the same thing. That's the cycle that we go through when we move through each of the signs, which is also moving through each of the elements, right? It's powerful energy. All right. We're still talking about the week ahead. We have talked about how we are going to have Capricorn moon, which is where it is right now. And then we're going to move into Aquarius moon. And then now we're going to move and talk about how the moon is going to move into Pisces later in the week. So Pisces moon, and this is where we're going to have our new moon on the 18th. Okay, so it's coming. So the Pisces moon on the 18th it's a preparation, right? As we're going up into the 18th, it's preparation for that. And as the moon enters into Pisces, the emotional field is going to become quieter and more reflective. This phase is going to ask you to rest. It's going to want more introspection, maybe some creative insights and spiritual alignment, because that's what Pisces governs. And what this is going to do is prepare, like I said, as it goes into Pisces season, briefly into the new moon, it's going to prepare us for that new moon on the 18th. Okay, so I'm going to do a little teaching stream on every single one of these episodes. At least I'm going to try to. And this teaching stream today is all about why your rising sign matters. And this is from the Christic Astrology, True Sidereal, Working with the Living Sky, Walking with the Living Sky perspective of me on Sha'Ryah. Okay, so this week's teaching stream introduces one of the most important concepts of astrology, which is the rising sign. And many people begin astrology by learning their sun sign, and that's mainstream. Mainstream is, here's your sun sign, and then go read your horoscope and find out about your personality traits. And this sun sign is compatible with this sun sign, or whatever it is, right? And they later will discover their moon sign. That's typically the next thing that many people find. But the rising sign actually describes something different. It represents the gateway through which life experience enters the chart. So it's really incredible, the difference between the way that rising signs show up in life. So the rising sign describes how a person initially meets the world. It talks about how others tend to perceive them at their first encounter. So when you first meet somebody, what is the energy that they give to you? And it is also the orientation of the entire chart. So in the chart structure, the rising sign determines the placement of the houses, which means it actually shapes where different life experience unfolds. Then while the sun, and it actually represents your identity, and the moon reflects your emotional nature, the rising describes the lens through which the experience is filtered. Tea. Oh my goodness, it's delicious. Oh, it's delicious. All right. So understanding the rising sign helps people recognize that astrology is not only about personality, it is also about perspective and timing. Your rising sign is the gateway through which life meets you. That's how important it is. Okay, I told you I was going to talk about Mercury retrograde when I got all excited about it earlier, because oftentimes Mercury retrograde is represented as different. There's a lot of negative energy, let's say, that gets put out there around Mercury retrograde. And I want to straighten the record because, well, one, I like to live in the truth. And for two, nobody needs to be living in fear or doom or gloom or concern about stuff because someone's distorted the information. So Mercury retrograde periods are best understood as cycles of refinement. And that's what I said earlier. They encourage reviewing decisions, revisiting conversations, correcting misunderstandings, and refining ideas. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing bad about that. Sometimes we have to review things and make sure before we go ahead. That's all. So when people resist these review cycles, confusion increases. But when you cooperate with the review cycle, then clarity improves. And that's all it's asking for. Is just, if you've had it, what conversations do you need to maybe have a second go around at? Like maybe there was some confusion and you need to get to that point of clarity, right? Maybe there's something that there's a misunderstanding and it needs to be corrected. And there's nothing wrong with doing any of those things. There's nothing bad about it. All right, so we're going to do an embodiment practice. And with every embodiment practice, you've got to either bring yourself and show up with your breath and your body, or you got to show up with a piece of paper or a book and a pencil. So I just say every time you come to one of my lives, just bring a pen and a piece of paper. Because you don't know, maybe something that I say about the celestial briefing will be something that you want to write down so you can go back to it. Although you can always get the recordings on the YouTube channel on Sha'Ryah or on Sha'Ryah and Lorian. So the same as this one. Okay. So the embodiment practice that I have for you today, because it isn't true unless we live it. So we have to embody it to make it real. So I want you to write down in your life 3 areas that currently require a review, a correction, or patience. Something where you just need to slow down a little bit. I was somebody that rushed quite a bit. I have Aries rising. And if I'm in my head and, thoughts can move quickly, then I can move with my thoughts very quickly. But that doesn't mean that my body's in alignment with it or that it's in alignment with me. And, if I wait until I feel it within my body and then I move, then it's different. That's an aligned direction that I'm taking. And it's much better as Aries rising to allow your body, right? Think of what Aries represents, allowing your body to move you forward, like move by passion, by heart, by soul. And so it's that opportunity. So allow yourself to just write down 3 areas where you need review, correction, or patience. Okay. And if you feel like you can always share it in the comments. You can be brave. Now I have a song in my head, and if my friend was here, she would sing it with me. That's the way it goes. Hello, say hello. I have the comments for you over there. So when I look, I'll look over there. I almost smacked my teacup. Okay. So the reason why we did this embodiment practice is because it's encouraging you to allow clarity to emerge gradually rather than to force immediate solutions. And we tend to go with that energy, that needing an immediate response, that energy is actually asking for, or it's presenting as urgency, and urgency presents as there's something wrong, there's fear, or there's something lacking, right? So we want to stay out of that urgency energy. We want to be making things, doing things because it's aligned, and because we feel that our mind, our body, our soul, like that we're complete alignment with it as we're moving forward. And sometimes we get wrapped up in, how do I even know if if something's in alignment? And, if you're not certain how that feels in your body, I mean, you can always check out my website, and I can show you how to connect into your body. There's a free group there, Temple of Light. I would suggest that you join that and check out some of the practices and stuff that are there. There's meditations. And if someone was to put a request in the group, then, I would oftentimes just put something together for them. So if you needed something specific, you could always ask, and you never know. I might decide, yeah, I want to do that, and I'll put it in the group. So we want to just, take time. That's all that that wonderful Mercury retrograde is asking us to do, is just to take a pause and review some things and make sure that it is truly aligned before moving forward. Okay. So the sky is not asking for rapid action this week. We're in Pisces season. It's asking for reflection. It's asking for awareness. And it's also asking for thoughtful direction, right? So clarity grows when we move with the rhythm of the celestial cycles rather than rushing ahead of them. And if today's celestial briefing helps you understand the current sky a little more clearly, there are actually 2 ways that you can explore this work more deeply. First, if you actually want to learn how to read the sky and understand your own birth chart, the Christic Astrology course is open, and you can find the link on Sha'Ryah. You can go to the website, and it's right on the front page. And if you're simply curious about these teachings and want to continue conversations with others walking this path, the Temple of Light, like I suggested, is open, and it is free. It's a foundational space where many people begin their journey with Sha'Ryah. And if you're curious about a reading, I can do a birth chart, natal chart reading in True Sidereal. Good evening, Alex. How are you? How are you? How's your evening going? Did you have an enjoyable Sunday? Yeah, it was a sunny Sunday, so it was not disappointing at all. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad that you had a good Sunday. Where are you abouts? I feel like I gave myself away. That somehow someone will say she's Canadian. I didn't say a boot. I know I didn't. Probably. Yeah, I'm getting my internet upgraded, and it might not even be my internet. It could be the whole bunch of tabs I have open. I'll have to look at that. Okay, good. We were just doing a celestial briefing and talking about a little bit of the stuff that's at my company. And that was it. that was it. And the next live is on Wednesday. So I'm just hanging out for a bit. What do you do, Alex? I do a variety of things. So, and I've done a variety of things. It's actually quite humorous when I think about all the different jobs I've had. Nice. What'd you cook? I don't eat. I spend most of my time being predominantly vegetarian, but I do occasionally get certain meat. Like I will get grass-fed local beef, but it's occasionally, like once a week at most. Yeah. Nice. That's quite the meal. That's quite the meal. Yeah. Yeah, I'm one of those weirdos. Those weirdos that has to know where her food comes from. Because I know what's out there. I have such a hard time eating things nowadays because of what they've done to the food supply. But that's a conversation for another day, like a Wednesday. Not a Sunday. That's not walking with the sky conversation. Right? If I can grow it, perfect. If I know the farm it came from, perfect. And we just kind of step up from there. Nice. Very nice. Oh, it's nice. I had a friend that had an organic farm down in Costa Rica. Oh, I would like to go back and see her. It was lovely. Yeah. One day though. Totally night and day. Absolutely. Being in Canada versus Costa Rica. Yeah. Costa Rica reminded me of Canada back in the 80s, which was really nice. Sure, there were some things that were different that you kind of had to get used to, but once you got used to them, it was fine. Sounds good. So yeah, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Mountain, or Sundays at 6. Wednesdays and Sundays. But I'm doing extra lives this week because I'm doing a live on equinox, and then I'm doing a short live at 11 Mountain on Saturday the 21st. It's a global meditation at 11 Mountain, 1 Eastern. So you come and hang out then. That's all the dates. That's all the dates for the next little bit, sort of. I'm like, I'm always doing so many things. I would like just so many things. Yeah. Go have your meal. Go enjoy your supper. Go and enjoy your supper. Do you know what your signs are in true sidereal, or have you only ever looked at your signs in mainstream? And most people say, I just used a natal chart, a birth chart thing that was free on the internet, and that would mean tropical. There's only a couple that are really free for true sidereal, and Mastering the Zodiac is one. I always confirm their placements because I use it all depends on what system you use, and the system that I use, I would confirm it with that system. And then yeah, it's quite interesting when you look at your birth chart information and the true, like what it truly stands for within your chart. It's pretty neat. Lots of people are quite shocked by it, or they have a hard time going and doing it because they're like, I'm a Leo, and they just don't want to be anything but a Leo. You have to be brave and check it out, because sometimes it's that you have Leo placement. It's just that your Leo placement's maybe in Mercury. So you think your perception, or the way that you process information is like Leo. So it makes sense that you feel like Leo or think like Leo, or you identify. I guess it would make sense you would identify as a Leo because it's your thought patterns. Same thing if you have maybe a Leo moon and you're more, with your emotions, you may feel that, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense that I'm a Leo sun. But then find out that you're actually Cancer and other signs. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. So yeah, if you want to find out more about walking the living sky, or to find out about living the way or embodied wisdom, join me on Wednesday for the next live. I do have Christic Astrology course beginning on March 20th, but that's just the opening ceremony. Classes won't actually begin until April. So but you've got time, you've got a little bit of time. But if you want to learn the way to use the living sky, to work with the living sky and the energies, and really map yourself, then check out Christic Astrology on Sha'Ryah.com. The website is linked in my profile. Anyway, I love you guys. I'm going to head off now. Have a